on record. With that, winds are now up to 180 miles per hour, 290 kilometers an hour. It is moving to the north-northwest at 11 kilometers an hour, about 7 miles per hour. The pressure has dropped. A few days ago it was around 946, which is plenty low enough. When it drops, it is stronger. It is now below 900. The pressure is 896. That may actually bump up the winds eventually to around 185. But 180 to 185, this is a destructive and life-threatening situation as this continues to move in. You've done your part getting the word out, and now we are just kind of in some locations, as I've been letting my friends know, they are protecting themselves, really protecting their lives at this point in certain locations and doing the best they can as this works in. Right now, Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, and Manchester, that's where this is coming on shore. Whether you're north of the eye, west of the eye, south of the eye, or east of the eye, in this sector, that is the eye wall. That's where we have the winds of near 180 to 185 miles per hour. Regardless of structure, that is a life-threatening situation. I was just, when I was last in touch, I've lost touch with a lot of folks on the ground. When I was last in touch, I was getting a few questions in the western end about what to do. And I was messaging my friends. I said, wherever your safe spot is in your home, be it in the bathroom, a closet, interior room, best you can, have a blanket, maybe a mattress if you have one. If you have a bathtub, you may want to consider getting into it if it gets bad. These things could help kind of cover you up, right? If you have a blanket, a mattress, or anything of those means, pillows, if you will, and then maybe something to protect the head. There's not necessarily a lot of helmets around, but some sort of pop pan, something to just kind of shield your head best you can. Again, Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, a life-threatening situation right now as this is making landfall. Clarendon, as we work our way back toward the east, again, watching that as this lifts to the north, and Hanover, St. James, as we work our way toward Trelawney, St. Anne, we're going to see significant impacts, whether you're south or north. But in this area here, structure failure is likely if the structure simply just cannot withhold this. So again, this is a life-threatening situation. You want to stay low inside your home. If anything does collapse, you want to stay safe. And of course, stay together with this. It is going to be extremely noisy as well. And again, I'm not saying this to be scary. You know me. We don't typically have to discuss this kind of magnitude of things. You see it for yourself. This is moving in, and some folks are still able to get the word out in some spots. So in through here with the increase in winds, South Lamar back toward Black River, Treasure Beach, Mendeville, we're looking at 195 mile per hour gust out of this. Again, that is going to cause damage. Even if you're in a well-built structure that right along this area here in the parishes I was mentioning, there's still going to be damage in well-built structures, let alone the weaker ones. Then this will lift to the north, Montego Bay back toward Falmouth, over toward St. Anne. If you're anywhere in here, winds will be gusting 145, potentially 150 miles per hour as this moves in. Again, this is a worst case scenario. Roofs are going to come off of some homes where this is coming on shore. This is something we've talked about over the last few days, and other roofs that even stay on are going to take on some damage. And of course, it is going to be wet. It is going to be wet inside many homes. We are all with you in this weather community. That's why we do this. That's why we've been getting the word out together here, and I can't thank you enough for doing that, because this is where we stand now. And again, it's that life-threatening situation. We're looking at those winds here. This is not even updated yet. We're getting the information from the aircraft that's inside of this. Winds are up. Again, they are higher than this. They're up to that 180 marker, 290 kilometers an hour. I also want to take you down the road where this will go next, still as a major hurricane in southeastern Cuba, and really pinpointing where in the Bahamas this will go. We'll cover that as well. Let's get back to some of those winds, though, that we're going to see. I want to get very specific with the winds. We're going to see this working in now. So we have landfall that is starting to happen. Landfall is when the center point moves on shore, anywhere from a Black River back through Treasure Beach. That is technically landfall, but the eye wall is already coming on shore. That is the worst of it. With it, we have that surge, which I'll also cover. This will be lifting its way right across northern sections of Jamaica, right by St. Ann by this evening, and then eventually tonight, working its way into southeast Cuba, still as a major hurricane, and then very close to Long Island and Crooked Island in the Bahamas. It's not going to hit all of the Bahamas, so I'll show you that as we go out in time, very specifically what we can expect with that. Now, here's the core of it. By the time we hit about 10 this morning, this may be a little bit fast and maybe a little bit more over here, but it gives you a feel, right? These models, forget that, right? Forget that. This just gives us a feel of what's going on because this is off the charts. The models have not picked up on how strong this is. So again, in this area here, we have those winds 150 to 180 along the coast. As it moves in, we'll see those strong winds again, all in this sector here where we're inside and we're kind of protecting each other in case we get the extreme damage that a lot of us are going to see. Not all of us. Keeping it in perspective, not all of us, but that damage that we are going to be taking on. We'll have that surge. You see that onshore flow this way, back toward Montego Bay, coming down this way. Again, I can't stress this enough. You know well that we have been preparing for about 5-10 days in some spots that this would be a threat for Jamaica. Then here, by the time we at 1 o'clock, center starts to lift near St. Ann. Still those strong winds on the northern coast with the hurricane impact still. And then we're trying to get rid of this thing as we get into this evening. By 7 p.m., by around sunset time, this will be out of here. It'll still be breezy. It's going to be dangerous after the storm as well. Things are going to be down. There's going to be a lot of trees down. There'll be debris around. Keep those shoes on if you do have to venture around a little bit.
All right, guys. We're back. We're back. Good morning. Good morning to everybody. Welcome back. It's a beautiful day. It's a hot day, actually, in the Caribbean. It's a hot day down here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Just wanted to start with that for our brothers and sisters in Jamaica. You know they're going to be facing a torrid time as we go along this morning. Well, you know, the news this morning about the madness that is taking place in Trinidad and Tobago, not with the people, but with the government, is something of concern for all of us in the Caribbean region. And I knew eventually, even that the government of Trinidad would have eventually blamed Caricom and said that Caricom is not standing with them. I knew eventually that would have happened. Of course, when you make bad decisions, this is what happens. You stand alone sometimes. Even Guyana, with its own problems, have asked that the region remain a zone of peace and that we all work together to work out whatever differences that we may have. So when you have one prime minister in that of Kamla Persad-Bissessar saying that she doesn't care about Caricom when they asked if Caricom would support Trinidad when it goes to the UN Security Council to bid. She basically said she doesn't care if they don't support her. Well, why are you worried now? Why are you going off on a tangent to say that Caricom is not supporting Trinidad? Caricom stands with the people of Trinidad and Tobago. They don't stand with the nonsense that you are doing, but they stand with the people of Trinidad and Tobago who wants this region to remain a zone of peace. And we do understand that Trinidad have a drug problem. We do understand that Trinidad have high crime rates. There are different means and ways of dealing with that crime rate and that drug problem outside of having this region turn into a war zone. Because even if the war does happen, which apparently it appears by all and sundry, it is going to happen. After the war is over, do you think Trinidad will be rid of crime and drugs? Absolutely not. But this is a classic sign of weak leadership. Because if you go at the state of Guyana, even President Ali, that has an issue with Venezuela, with their border dispute, he remains very steadfast in maintaining this Caribbean as a zone of peace. And he's urging mature and open discussions on all of the issues that are currently before us. However, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago showed her, just went off on a tangent. She went rogue on everybody. So every single member of Caricom except Trinidad and Tobago, the government of Trinidad and Tobago, is calling for the Caribbean to remain a zone of peace. On top of that, you have civil society and religious groups around the regions who have protested what the Prime Minister of Trinidad have done. Call it extremism. And I've called on her to respect her other Caricom brothers. Of course, when the former Caricom leaders stood up and said that they don't want that, she also attacked them. And she also basically called Caricom now betrayers, traitors. That's what basically she's saying. They've left Trinidad and gone and support Venezuela. But that is not true. They're supporting that the region remains a zone of peace, as it should be. The people of Trinidad and Tobago are a beautiful set of people. I have family there. I know Trinidad and Tobago. I've been there numerous times. They are not up for what the Prime Minister is doing. They are not. They are not up for that this morning. They are actually not up for that this morning. No one in the Caribbean actually supports an invasion in Venezuela. Absolutely no one except the government of Trinidad and Tobago. Not the people. No. The government of Trinidad and Tobago is the only set outside of Donald Trump, neocons and narco who support that. Not the people of the region. And Caricom is standing with the people of Trinidad and Tobago in support that there is no war, because war will hurt every living soul. America is not here to protect Trinidad. America is not here to protect Barbados, St. Vincent, Jamaica, nobody. They're here for their own interests. And when that interest is fulfilled, they will leave the region with problems. Maybe they will send container loads of $1 bills to rebuild, but we'll be on our own. Nothing. As a matter of fact, history has shown us that everywhere that the Americans have gone to launch war, when they leave, the place is worse than before. Look at Libya. They can't even have a functioning proper government up to now. Look at Iraq. I mean, just look at all these countries, Afghanistan, all of them. They just, everywhere they go and foment a war, it gets worse. And Venezuela, by all said and means, may become the next Vietnam for the United States of America if they intend to invade down there, like they said they're planning to do. And from all of the discussions coming out of the United States of America, there is an impending war. Up to Friday, Lindsey Graham stated that yes, there will be land strikes. There will be land strikes. He made it plain. He made it very, very plain. And so we know for a fact that things are going to get very, very sticky. They are going to invade Venezuela. There is going to be a war. A lot of us don't like to hear that, but it is what it is. It is going to happen. And I implore people to go, prepare, stock up. Don't follow those who tell you not to. You hear me? Because those who are telling you not to do it, they have already made preparations for what is to come. So don't be fooled by them. Okay? Do not be fooled by them. And guys, anybody who wants to get in on the live, you can join me by clicking on the link that's in the description section up there, in the chat section actually. I've left the link right there, and you can join the live link if you want to get in touch with me live right here on the program. Now let's get to this issue of Kamla accusing Caricom of siding with Venezuela. Let's get to this. We need to speak to that this morning. This is the latest coming out of Trinidad already, and that issue there. Let's get to that immediately. In the meantime, let me say good morning to everybody who is on the live. Let me say good morning to everybody who is on the live. Let me say good morning to all of the folks before I get into that. TS, good morning. Carib View, good morning. Jen, good morning. Madness in Trinidad at the moment with the Prime Minister. Henry says, good morning, sir, and all viewers. Patricia Cokes said, good morning, Henry and everyone. Destiny Child said, blessed morning to everyone. TS is making a lot of statements here. America is in trouble too, and I'm happy to know that. None missed the US when they ban and bow. Isolate Kamala. She is a traitor to Caricom. Let me click and bring in that individual immediately. I'll go right ahead, Peter.
That's a lot, brother. How things?
I'm good, man. Talk to me.
All right, well, day by day, the situation just getting more and more kind of way, brother. I've been honest with you. People right about now, there's still some moving like they don't care because Trini people are take everything slightly, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But the serious minded ones, yeah, people bracing for the worst, you know? People bracing for the worst, and yeah, that's how I talk going around now, but I ain't gonna really talk that on this platform here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's serious. It's very serious. Yes, yes. Even though a man see Kamla this morning in some social media with all khaki down. I mean not khaki, camouflage clothing.
That
And
could be
she
an
ready for
AI,
the
man.
war.
That
Yeah,
could be
yeah,
an AI, man.
true.
Yeah.
Correct. So as I say, Jed, thing kind of be right about now. But brother, keep up the good work, you
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, thanks a lot. All right, internet not good right across the Caribbean, actually. All right, let's get into what Kamla accuses Caricom of siding with Venezuela. Straight off the bat, this is rubbish. This is a leader who has made a bad decision, and the bad decision have come back to haunt her. Remember, I said in a previous video that for some people, reality sets in very quickly. For others, it takes a while before you understand and before the rationale in your brain, before reason really kicks in. And reason has now kicked in with the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. And this is where her way of escaping the reality she created for herself by blaming Caricom now. I said that, I said that reality for Kamla will come sooner will come later, maybe, because I said for Horsley, who came down in the Caribbean and was ejected by Antigua, reality came very quickly for him. But I said for people like the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, reality will come a little bit later. Reality has now kicked in for the Prime Minister of Trinidad. And she's now realizing that the decision that she made was not a good one. And what is the best thing to do when you make bad decisions? You blame all those who are around you. That is exactly what leaders who make bad decisions do. And now, after blaming the opposition in Trinidad for saying they're instilling fear into people in Trinidad, she's now blaming CARICOM leaders for not standing with Trinidad and siding with Venezuela. Well, let me say straight up off the bat, the CARICOM on a whole, all the leaders are standing firm with the people of Trinidad and Tobago who wants no war in this region and who wants it to remain a zone of peace. The only government in the region that sides with the US on fomenting war in this region is the government of Trinidad and Tobago, not the people, the government of Trinidad and Tobago. And history will show when the history books of this region are written for students who will come after you and I are gone. They will see Kamla Persad-Bissessar of Trinidad and Tobago was one who aided and abetted a war on a sovereign state in the Caribbean and disrupted our way of life. She will go down in history, in the history books, as one of those prime ministers. And she's now coming to realize it. And because she's now coming to face the reality of that is what history will write about her, she's now looking for those to blame. So history will record, well, Caricom didn't start with her, so she didn't have a choice. So she's now trying to write history before it is written. Well, she's already written the history. It is going down to say that Kamla Persad-Bissessar, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago during the year 2025, sided with the neocons and they bully and they aggressor the United States of America to foment a war in the Caribbean and disrupt this region's peace and been enjoying for decades and decades. This is what history will talk about when they talk about Kamla Persad-Bissessar in Trinidad. So she's blaming now the people of Caricom for not standing up with Trinidad and Tobago. The people of Trinidad and Tobago are beautiful people. They want no war. What they want is their country to be fixed of drugs and crime. Let me tell you all something. If every report right? If every report from the United States of America, the DEA, the UN report, the State Department report is stating that the bulk of drugs are coming from Colombia and that there's no cocoa field, hardly any cocoa fields in Venezuela, and the fentanyl and the drugs are coming out of South America. Basically, they're coming from Colombia, Bolivia, Ecuador, and others. And some minute fraction is coming from Venezuela. And even inside of their report, there's no labeling of the cartel of the Suns headed by Maduro. Why is it? Why is it? I can't get it. You mean to tell me the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago did not know these things before she went and jumped on the bandwagon with Trump? She didn't know these things? Their own report tells you there's no drugs. And I want to say something to you. I want to say something. Singapore had a problem just like Trinidad and Tobago. Drugs and crime. Singapore, go and research it for yourself. They had a problem just like Trinidad and Tobago. They got rid of it. Crime is almost down to zero in Singapore. You know why? They strengthened their judiciary. Knock out corruption in their judiciary. Knock out corruption in their police services and intelligence services. And that is how they manage to get crime down. Anywhere you have corruption in all levels of society, including the judiciary, the police, the intelligence services, the military, the Coast Guard, once you have corruption, you are not going to get rid of crime. And maybe that is what we need to start looking at in the Caribbean in terms of crime. Maybe we need to start looking into all of the aspects of governance to see where the corruption is, and then we could talk about crime. And you know what else Singapore did? Singapore also strengthened the laws of the country to get rid of crime. So you have drugs, a certain amount of drugs, cocaine and all of that stuff. Brother man, you're gone. Whether you get life in prison or you get taken out, that's it. Just like Indonesia, that is how they were able to deal with the crime problem. You have to strengthen your laws. You have to remove the corruption to a certain level. You can't, you basically won't get it down to zero. But if you could remove 95% and 96% of it, which these countries did, that is how they tackle their situation. That is what we have to look after in the Caribbean. We don't want war to disrupt our way of life, to deal with simple matters. It seems like everything these leaders do, they have to depend on somebody. They have to depend on some other country. And when that country is finished with us, we are worse off than we were before. I just want to put that out there. So when I hear people telling me about, oh, they have a crime problem and a drug problem and you don't want to help. I don't want to help. I'm saying to you, America is not going to stop Trinidad's crime and drug problem. America's not here for that. They're here to get one thing and one thing only. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? They're here for one thing and one thing only. And when they get that, we'll be left on our own to continue solving this drug problem that we have in the region. I say again, and I will say it now. For the region to deal with the drug problem and the crime in each island, they have to start looking at examples like Singapore and Indonesia in what they did in strengthen their laws and root out corruption across the board on all levels, whether in the police service, whether it's in judiciary, in government, wherever it is. That's how they got rid of crime and drugs, basically. They still have a few going wrong. Yes, they would, because somebody would find a way to escape the system. But we have to start doing that in the region. That is what we have to do if we want to be rid of that. No war will solve that. War makes everything worse. Syria is a perfect example. Gaza and Israel is an example. Afghanistan is one. Iraq is one. Somalia is one over there. That Sudan. There's so many problems that we are having in this world here right now with this thing. Let me bring back in Peter. Peter.
Yeah, brother, you're talking about the number 5 thing taking place in number 5. Yeah, again, the revelation concern so far with how everything 5 category, hurricane, 5 days.
Jamaica's in a very bad state this morning, my friend. Very bad.
But I now you were talking about how this whole thing unfolding with number 5. You didn't get no revelation concern by
Well, it's all 5, you know. It's all 5, and you have to ask yourself. You have to dig into that to see what that means. You won't get that in one swell soup. You might not even get it overnight. You have to
shoot,
sit down.
shoot.
You have to sit down and you have to study all these things. You have to study it you have to look at all of what is happening. You have to look at it on a whole. And you have to pay attention to what these people are saying. And then you will figure out. But what I'm saying, it just appeared very strange that you will see a 5, a 5, a 5 everywhere. 5 days for
Yeah,
Puerto
yeah.
Rico. 5 days a boat will be in Trinidad. A category 5 hurricane there.
God.
I don't know what is happening. What I can tell you
Well,
though, is that
mhm.
there are a lot of people in Congress in the US, war hawks, who are saying, and they've made it bluntly clear over the weekend that there will be a land invasion in Venezuela. They're telling you straight up there's going to be a war.
Yeah, shoot,
The president of the US have not said that he is going to launch a war. He says he has a war on drugs. But these are
Yeah.
people in Congress who are backing him, who are telling you, no, there will be a land invasion in Venezuela.
Yeah.
So whether we like it or not, it is going to happen. But anyway, let me just guys, give me 1 minute. I think we have a little emergency here. Stand by. All right, guys, we're back. Just have to take care of a little issue right there. We're back. Right. So, as I was saying, let's get into this whole issue with our good dear Prime Minister in Trinidad and Tobago. What is she saying this morning? She has criticized Caricom and described it as an unreliable partner that has chosen to side with Venezuela over Trinidad and Tobago. So, let us begin from that context. The Prime Minister has criticized Caricom, describing it as an unreliable partner that has chosen to side with Venezuela over Trinidad and Tobago. Let's look at that first paragraph. First of all, Caricom has not chosen Venezuela over Trinidad and Tobago. Caricom has chosen peace in the region over war. That's number one. And it means that they're not supporting what the United States of America is doing. You are the only individual that supports what the United States is doing in the region. So let's get that clear. Caricom is not unreliable. That's number one. Number two, you stated clearly that when asked if you were sure that Caricom would still support you in Trinidad's bid to go on the UN Security Council seat, you said you don't care about Caricom support. So let's make that plain again. Caricom continues to say that it stands with the people of Trinidad and Tobago. They continue to say that when they talk about the situation that is happening in the region. So to say that they're an unreliable partner is just absolutely wrong and nowhere near factual. They're not an unreliable partner. They're very reliable. Very, very reliable. They do not want any war. And they have not chosen the side of Venezuela. They have chosen the side of peace in this region. And they stand with the people of Trinidad and Tobago. She was speaking on an interview on Crime Watch program last evening. She commented on the lack of regional support for Trinidad endorsement of United States naval assets in the Caribbean. Absolutely. Why would any sane government in this region support the United States of America building up naval assets in the Caribbean region? Why would any sane government want to support any such thing? Why would any sane government want to do that? We don't have military. some of us have a little army, we call it a little army. Trinidad, Jamaica, Barbados have a defense force. We really don't have any kind of military to talk about and military assets. We don't have fighter jets, we don't have missiles and all these things. We don't have these things. Why should we support somebody coming into the region with massive warships, bombers, nuclear submarines to take out what? 4 guys on a jug boat? We must support that to disrupt our way of life. Have you noticed that since these guys are in the region, that telephone have become a serious issue? People are talking about their data. They can't get good data. That's because jamming is taking place in the region. We know that. We've seen it. Countries are experiencing whole blackouts of their internet on Sunday. St. Vincent and Grenadine, one of the networks here, flow was totally out of from morning till night. When people call to ask what is going on, they're saying that they're still working on the issue. They don't know what it is. It is the jamming of signals in the region. Auntie have experienced it. St. Kitts have experienced it. People in Trinidad and Tobago have experienced it. Since these people have returned to the region with their build-up of the military presence, that is what have been happening. We can't support that. Being left with our communication every 2 days and every hour our phone signal drop or we can't get a call if something happened to somebody. We can't support that. Why would you support such a thing, Kamla Persad-Bissessar? Why? All these are questions for you. And I tell you, it's too late to turn back now. That's what I can say. I don't think that the government of Trinidad and Tobago can backtrack on what they have done with the United States. I don't think they can backtrack at this moment. I don't think that they can reverse that and say that they're not going with them. I think they will pay a heavy price if they come out tomorrow morning and say they're not interested in what is happening. They don't want to be part of it anymore because it's inimical to their people and the region. If they do that, they will pay a heavy price. So they can't backtrack. And this is what Kamala is facing right now. That's why she's blaming everybody she can blame. She continues. There has been no such request from the U.S. Instead, requests for training and helping humanitarian projects like these military men who are here. So they are here to help in training. She said there have been no requests from the U.S. Instead, requests for training and helping in humanitarian projects. So they come to help humanitarian projects. I didn't know that Trinidad has an issue with humanitarian people in terms of so large they have to do humanitarian projects. I did not know that. I have to confess, I didn't know. I know they have a humanitarian issue because a lot of people are coming over from Venezuela. But I didn't know Trinidad itself, outside of these people who come, have a humanitarian issue. So they're doing humanitarian projects. I don't know what kind of projects they're talking about. And training for the army. Could help us with projects at schools. Okay, they're building schools too. So they will spend 5 days on the island and complete a school in 5 days. I can't see it. I both spend 5 days in Trinidad. They're gonna complete a school in 5 days in the Caribbean. 5 days. They're gonna build a school in Trinidad. Last time I checked, to construct a wall structure in the region, it takes about 3 months to do it if you're building a house. That's what I know. Some people may could build it in 2 months, but I didn't know it take a week or 5 days to build a school. I don't know. Or even some of our dilapidated military bases in the country. Okay, so they are here to help us with projects such as schools and some of our dilapidated bases in the country. Well, that's quite interesting. Military bases, that's interesting. Anyway, let's take a call from Workers Right 868. Go right ahead.
Good morning, sir. I'm calling from Trinidad. I mean, you're trying to get a contact to reach out to you for the longest while. You know, you're on point, 100%. The people at Trinidad and Tobago, many of them here, is not on this war thing that the Prime Minister have been propagating for the longest while. I mean, plenty of the people have split views because, take for example, only 300,000 people voted for the UNC. And the rest of the country didn't. So, regardless of the fact that she is the Prime Minister, there are people have alternative views as to what is taking place within this country. But the media in this country right about now, whoever government in power, I mean, TTT is a government broadcasting network.
Correct.
So, the salient effect, the recency effect, that things that now happen, I mean, they are the levy over the media. So people resorting to social media, and they know that social media have been throttled down in certain countries. Right about now, you're really having problems with the internet down here. Normal phone calls, the same thing. And people actually is frightened. We in high alert in Trinidad right about now on all parts, and it just would not coming out in the country. And there are people that support the government. But the thing about it is what that is going to cost us. What that is going to cost us.
Hold a
It
minute.
could
Hold a minute. Stick a point there. You said
Mhm.
that there's an alert, you said?
Yeah. Well, it unofficially,
Okay.
it's unofficial
Okay.
that we are on high alert in Trinidad. I
Okay.
mean, things shut down in certain places and they're keeping it hush hush. I mean, where I working, we are on high alert.
Okay.
Yeah, understand? We are on high alert
Got
because
you. I got you.
yeah. We are on high alert because anything could happen.
Correct.
Because the first thing if war ensue is things like port, airport, plant facilities, and in all these areas there is high alert, but just under low
Ah,
until
I got you.
until and nobody didn't call for this war. Nobody. I mean, if all right, let me show you something. If the prime minister of this country hold a referendum
Mm-hmm.
and the public actually come out and vote
Yeah.
and actually is going to say whether they want it or not, he is going to get a different results. You
Interesting.
understand? They will never hold something like that. There are many things that does take place within Trinidad and Tobago that the people does not actually have a voice
Wow.
in the matter. Because if on both sides of the fence, if we had to be real and practical, about 600,000 people does vote for either party,
Right.
UNC, PNM, and there's the next half of the population don't vote. So if it is the whole referendum, I mean, no government never really represent the people in totality or
Correct.
take the total views of the people then where that is concerned. Things like referendum in Trinidad and Tobago, they see, right, if the government decide to hold a project or do something in Trinidad, they go with the narrative that people supporting them. So this here comes from the normal playbook of the UNC party. Where
I
it is,
see.
you remember George Orwell, 1984?
Correct.
Well, they push a narrative and then they are plenty paid propaganda station that they have, a social media, and well, they have in control of the national media. So this the spout a narrative and then they continues to echo it within the public domain and people getting fed up idea. People don't even vote. I mean, it's the same thing. If you want, if we had to go into history, it's the same thing that happened in Bell, California, when they would have cracked down on Robert Rizzo at the time. They're realizing, wait now, Robert Rizzo always winning, and people not really turning out. And it's not when they went in and they investigate what taking place. Then they go see that people just fed up with governance. People not really see no change in this country. I mean, we only have two narrative that is being sprouted. But at the end of the day, this particular party, the UNC party in Trinidad and Tobago, is one of the worst party that ever hit. Because if you had to look at corruption, is the party we did actually had hope that Kamla Persad-Bissessar would have done something different. If you had a look, there was airport scandal. The minister in live sport right about now, who was in live sport, he was in the middle of a $1 million scandal. That was ruled here. The rural money minister energy, he and all EMBD, $1 million scandal. There was one that David Lee, he went to jail and he outside on bail and he's a minister serving. So that is what we have in right about now in Trinidad.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
thousands of people, as this government come into power, 20,000 people lost the job immediately. And that people that getting like, I mean, if you know the economy here in Trinidad,
Yeah.
these are people that working for $110 a day. They just call them on relief program, CPEP, European Forestry. They work about 10 or they work about 5 hours a day and they're working for 100. And imagine you cut all of the salaries. I mean, not cut all of the, imagine you put all of them on the breadline. You understand? Here the word URP. URP is unemployment relief program.
Wow.
And you cut all of that. To do what? And the end of the day, before Kamla Persad-Bissessar would have attained power, she had problems with the salary raise that the then PNM government would have taken. And people believe she, when she would have gotten power, before she suspend the order, what she would have done is continue to take the salary and go after Stuart Young, who would have spent about a month and a half in the prime ministerial position, and repeal the pension act. So he had no pension to get, although he was the prime minister. But why he didn't go in and repeal the salary deduction and take a salary deduction? You see,
Some
you're
people,
not getting consistency with the government at all. Not.
some folks on the live said that you're biased.
Well, they might say that, but they're not really actually living in Trinidad and Tobago. All what I say is the truth.
Okay, all right.
All
Okay.
what I say is the
Did
truth
you
because you can
did
check
you
it.
did you know did you how do you feel, because I'm reading this from the Guardian, where they
Uh-huh.
basically is saying here that the men are here, the army, the US military is here, and they are helping with humanitarian projects. They're helping with projects at schools, and they are helping with some of our dilapidated military bases in the country. How many military bases is currently in Trinidad?
Well, we have one regiment. Well, it has
Mhm.
different military base. There's little small military base. We have a
Right,
regiment. The major part of the regiment is in Chaguaramas.
right.
You understand? And it have
Just
all others, like all Mausika, Ogden, and all them places throughout Trinidad and Tobago. It have posts all over the place. It has several posts. There are about 3 or 4 main posts, but it has several posts. But
mhm.
concerning that same issue with that, and it baffles me, how you will bring all these military activities within our country to help
Mhm.
out people in schools? Come now, man.
No,
We have to be the. No, no,
yeah,
no. Well, I say that now, but that is the excuse that
no,
Kamla
but
would have said.
I am wondering myself, because if a vessel is in a harbor for 5 days,
Uh-huh.
what kind of school projects could they be helping with?
In 5 days.
What kind of fixing up of dilapidated military base can they do in 5 days? And also, the question is, why are you fixing up military bases? Do you have F-35s? Do you have warships in Trinidad? Do you have, it's obvious you're fixing them for a certain reason. And the government needs
Mm-hmm.
to come clean, I believe, with the people and let the people know what is really taking place.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just be
True.
going around telling people, oh, they're fixing dilapidated military base. Did you hear in the campaign? Let me ask you a simple question before you get off, because somebody else is
Mhm.
waiting. Did you hear in the campaign the UNC stating that they were going to fix military bases?
No, they never say that in the campaign. Never.
Oh, okay, I just wanted to know. All right, buddy. All right, okay.
All right then. Well, thanks.
Thanks a
Yeah.
lot. And you could call in at any time when you get a chance. All right.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, good. So that's our good brother from Workers, right? 6868 in Trinidad. I just wanted to know, because this is not apparently part of the promises that were made to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. This is something new that has come about in the last couple of weeks, that their military men are in Trinidad, US military people, to fix military bases. And there must be a reason why we want them fixed up. If it was not a campaign promise, I would have said we have to give her the benefit of the doubt. If during the campaign she said we're going to fix up the military bases because we need to have our soldiers or people, our regiment in good conditions, and stuff like that, I would have understood this happening. But since it was never a campaign promise, it was never spoken about, you have to ask yourself, why are these men here to fix those things? And I don't know what schools they'll be fixing in a couple of days. I would love to see what the news report on that when they leave. Anyway, so that's what she stated there. And she also said that let's get down to what she also said here. So that is what this visit is about. So the visit is about, one, helping humanitarian projects. She didn't mention what they were. Two, help in projects at schools. Did not mention what those schools projects were. Fix up some of the dilapidated military bases. I think this one, fixing of some of our dilapidated military bases, is the most clearest explanation as to what the US military personnel are doing in Trinidad. This is the clearest explanation of what, because humanitarian projects are a broad term. That's a very broad term. There is really no breakdown of what that really means. It's a broad term. Projects at schools is a broad term. What are they fixing? Toilets, Are they adding washrooms? Are they adding more classrooms? Are they adding in blackboards for children who don't have blackboards in their classrooms? Are they adding in benches and desks? No explanation. But the clearest explanation is that they're fixing up some of our dilapidated military bases, which means there must be a special reason for them doing that. Peter, go ahead.
Yeah, what happened is that American soldiers also come and train Trinidad regiment, but
Yes.
I think them big warship never touch base, you know. To my understanding, I believe that is the first time a big warship like that I
Right.
touch base, you know, and that is a wrong time and that come here then. That, you know what I'm saying? That wrong time. And it shall be some other time, but not now. Because it looking like kind of way. You understand what I'm saying? It looking like kind of way.
Not
Yeah,
normal.
that's
As
yeah,
the people
correct.
they look normal. They look normal.
Yeah,
Yeah, they look
correct,
normal.
right, you know. Plus, we have our next base. We have our next base. You was asking this before the bases. Our next base up Komodo side up here now. But what man was telling me this morning, see, any time thing get out of hand and the Spanish and them decide to attack, if things start to happen, they will look to attack which part of big oil and gas and all them infrastructure as they so. And that pipeline running throughout Trinidad and Tobago. So if people feel they go affect south side alone, it's all over. Trinidad is just a little dot. Trinidad is just a little dot. So we ain't ready for them kind of battle and thing, brother. We ain't even ready for them kind of talk and all. We talking battle talk, but we ain't ready. Yeah, so a man say if 10 gang in Trinidad come together, they will give the regiment a beef in Trinidad and Tobago. They will give the regiment dual heat.
Yes.
If 10 gang come together, yeah. So
Somebody
mhm.
on the live said that Venezuela threatened to invade Trinidad, so the PNM is right to seek protection from the US. Well, first of all, I never heard anywhere before the US came to this region that Venezuela said that they're threatening to invade Trinidad. I never heard that anywhere before. So I don't know who
That's
gave
what
you, Stephen.
they
I don't know who gave
they
Stephen that. I don't.
yeah, that talk they talk at time. That talk, but not from the government, but other citizens they talk them.
Right. I don't know who gave Stephen that narrative. That comes right out of the US narrative. Stephen, get your head in the right place. That comes out of the US narrative. And if the Prime Minister had used a little bit more caution, let's put it like that, to err on the side of caution, nobody would be talking about Venezuela invading Trinidad. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. Stephen, get your head in the right place. Somebody says, drink water and mind your businesses. That is what the PM should say. I don't know if the person is speaking to me, but I'll tell you something. All of us will soon have to drink water and mind our business. When thing kicks off, a lot of us will have to drink water and mind our business. But it may be a bit too late to get even water to drink and mind your own business. Let's continue. Now, let's continue with what is here. A lot of you will defend foolishness to your death. That is what I know. The Prime Minister also reaffirmed her camaraderie with the Venezuelan people. She says we maintain that we have good relations and all good things for the people of Venezuela. We stand in solidarity with the people of Venezuela. That's a good thing to hear. I don't know how you're standing in solidarity with the people of Venezuela when you're allowing the United States of America to use your country as a launchpad based on what the congressmen in the United States of America is saying. They said that Trinidad will be used as a launchpad for a war into Venezuela. That is what the US Congress people are saying. I don't know if you know that. That is what Trump's Republican Congress people are saying. So I don't know how you're standing with the people of Venezuela when your country is basically the main facilitator of the US war of aggression on a sovereign state. I don't get that, but I guess sometime in the future you'll explain it to me. Luke, go right ahead.
Hi, hear me?
Yes, go right ahead, Luke. Hearing you loud and clear.
Yeah, well, this thing was going on between Venezuela and the US. Well, it had me thinking about a lot of things, like moving out of here and that kind of
You're
thing,
in a hole.
because...
You sound like you're in a hole. We're not hearing you at all properly.
You hear me now? Hello?
Yeah, go ahead now. Go ahead.
Yeah, this drama with Venezuela and the US had me thinking what is someone really doing, because you come on an international stage, you ain't even know what's going on in the world.
All right. Luke dropped out. Luke has a problem with his audio. Luke, you have a problem with your audio. All right, so, all right then. All right, okay. All right, Luke has a problem with the audio. Yes. All right, all right. Lindsey Graham is the one who said that. Lindsey Graham is the one who said that. Lindsey Graham in the United States. For those of you in Trinidad who don't believe that Trinidad and Tobago will become a launch pad for this war, that is what Lindsey Graham in the United States. He's a war hawk, and he's in the Republican cabinet. He's a war hawk. You understand? He's a war hawk. And these people only know war. They love war. War is the only thing that they know. It fuels their life. It's a military industrial complex. And if they don't foment war every Monday morning, they will become poor. It's sad to see that we in the Caribbean are being used. It's very, very sad to see that we are being used at the moment to fuel their riches, and we can't figure it out up to now. It's very, very sad to see that we are being used at the moment. We are actually fueling their riches right now because it's a military industrial complex and they only know war. They love war. That is what they love. And we are the ones in the Caribbean now facilitating their nasty habit. Take a look here. Go research yourself. Take a look at it. The congressmen are saying that they're going to have war. They're going to have land incursion in Venezuela. People in Congress are calling for President Trump to scale down because he's not asking permission from Congress. He said it's legal to do it. Right? Any day now. As a matter of fact, operations through the CIA has already been engaged in Venezuela. The CIA is already engaged down there. I didn't know that Trinidad and Tobago have a bad relation with Venezuela right now. Stephen, your prime minister just said, what did she say? She said, what? We maintain that we have a good relations with all the things for people of Venezuela. We stand in solidarity with people of Venezuela. I didn't know that Venezuela and Trinidad have a bad relationship. Based on what your prime minister is saying, Stephen. You don't read newspapers, Stephen? You don't read what the prime minister is saying? She said that they have good relations with Venezuela. So why do you think after the Americans go down and decide to launch war in a country that didn't provoke them, that there will be good relations between Venezuela and Trinidad? As far as your prime minister is saying, right now, there's good relations between Trinidad and Venezuela. Stephen, you're not reading, man. You need to go do some research. Get your head out the clouds, Stephen. Get your head out the clouds. Anyway, guys, I'm saying to you again, go, prepare yourself, buy whatever little you can. Don't be a sitting duck. Do not be a sitting duck. When these war hawks you have in the United States of America, people like Lindsey Graham and people like Marco Rubio or Naco, whatever his name is, people like them, they like war. We have never known war in the Caribbean. We've never gone through one really, as in fought in our region and on our soil. We have never been through that. People keep thinking that this is some joke and that when everything pops off, that everything will be hunky-dory and fine in Trinidad after. For those of you who believe that, something is wrong with your brain, go get it rewired. We don't know what war is. We don't want no war down inside here. We don't know what war is. We do not know. We've never experienced it. And because we've never experienced it, we talk a lot of garbage. Do you know that people who've never experienced death cannot speak to anybody about death really? When you hear somebody die in a family and somebody comes up and say, they come to a funeral and they say, I understand, I'm sorry for your loss, I understand what you're going through. You don't understand what the person is going through because you've never had death in your family. It's only when it comes to your doorstep you understand what it means. Okay? Do you understand what I'm saying? 1 minute, guys. I think we have another issue coming up again. Stay tuned. All right, guys, we're back. Today seemed to be a very bad day all around. It seemed to be having some issues with a lot of connections in different places. People seem to be having some issues with internet connections as well. People been calling me for all sorts of different things today. It's just horrible what's happening in the region right now. So guys, so what I'm gonna do based on what is happening, I'm gonna pack it up because I have a couple other things to deal with in terms of emergencies, meetings and stuff like that. People are calling me. People have always been asking me for advice on a number of things, and I'm very, very happy to assist with that. Anybody else on the live would like to join me before I go? If you have an issue you may want to bring up quickly. If not, we could do this again a little later on. And one person asked me if I'm coming back on later. We'll see how that goes. So, wow. Judy Ranchen says U.S. will not allow Venezuela to attack Trinidad. So what this fear is about, can you enlighten me? It's just absurd thinking. well, you have to be really absurd in your thinking to think nothing will happen over there in Trinidad and Tobago. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about war, if you don't understand it. Venezuela doesn't have to send a missile into Trinidad and Tobago. When war is fought on a lot of fronts. Let me educate you on something, Julie. War is fought on different fronts. Okay? Did you see what happened in Iran when they were fighting a war with Israel? Do you see how they got people in a hotel room? You think that Israel went in there with a plane and dropped a bomb on them? No. Someone simply went in. They went in with a phone. Those things called beepers back in the day. They went into a hotel with that, gave it to somebody, and somebody were blown to smithereens. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? War isn't fought just with missiles alone, you know. There's something called ground war. Do you understand what I'm saying to you, Judy? No one has to drop a bomb on Trinidad and Tobago for anybody to do it to them. Nothing like that has to happen. Get your head from out of your behind and use your brain. Do you understand what I'm saying? Get your head out of your behind and out of the government behind and prepare yourself for what is to unfold in this Caribbean here. UNC will not be able to save anybody when this thing pops off. Nobody. What you need to do is to go and do like I said to you. Prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. Get your water. Get your food. Get all the necessary things you can gather That is what you need to do. Whoever Judy is, take your head out of the behind of the UNC. Good morning, Peter.
You know why sleeper cells?
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I believe Trinidad from them Spanish on them.
Okay. Interesting.
So what are Judy? She wake up as yet.
No,
She's
Judy
still
is
sleeping.
still sleeping. Judy's still sleeping.
Yeah,
Judy needs to take her head out of the behind of the UNC. That's what she needs to do.
yeah,
And think on her own.
exactly.
I tell people you can vote a political party, You can vote a political party if you wish to, right? When election come, if you want to vote, you can go and vote. That's your democratic right to do that. But outside of that, don't get your head up the asses of these political parties because politicians do not care about you. Politicians care about two things: power and what they can get from politics. That's all. Nothing else. A few of them come to every now and then that does something for the country. But really and truly, they study this election and the next election. That's what most of them do. So I just want to put that out there. But guys, take it easy. I will see you again a little later on, God's willing. And anything pops off, you can call me. You can send a message to me. Let me know what's taking place down inside there. Somebody said, let me see something. Yeah. Someone was saying something here a while ago that somebody's a troll somewhere. I can't remember. I think I see it a while ago. Yeah, they named out a few people who they said are trolls. They said Judy is one, UNC, one of those. All right. Yeah, so somebody said they would like to get in contact with me. I think I yeah, guys, if you need to get in contact with me, let me see if I could get this number up on the screen. That is the number right there. You can call me. That's the number up on the screen. You can call me through that number and you can leave a WhatsApp message with me and that will get back to you. So guys, take it